The benefit of men working in groups is that I think that it's a familiar way of being connected with other people on a common goal in practice. Goals usually, groups have goals and purposes, whether it's to win the game, build a house, complete a combat mission, and they're part of a team. So belonging to a part of a team is a way of validating them. So what we do in a therapeutic sense is say to the men in the group, okay, we have a challenge here. We have a challenge. We have a problem ahead of us that we want to solve. Is how to live with and adjust to, in the case of prostate. Each of you have had an injury. Not only a physical injury in terms of an invasive surgery or chemotherapy or hormonal replacement, but you've had an injury to the psyche, to your masculine self. It's a psychological injury, which is an invisible wound, and then you have a visible wound depending on the surgery. So our problem that we can address as a group together is how can we best accommodate and adjust to and cope with a new injury in life. In our groups, we have people who've been have had their cancer surgeries and treatments 10, 12 years before, and they're living well. So you want to be sure to hear from them as well. And again, I repeat, the people who've been through the program and have healed and recovered, they are a great asset to those that have a lot of tear that may be, and because it is cancer, and so they also need to talk not only about incontinence, but one of the other themes is the fear of dying. Because that is associated with cancers are seen as a life-threatening illness. Can be, not certainly prostate cancers. There are many people they're not, but that's where they go to. They catastrophize, and so if you have other people sitting in the group who the cancer is successfully treated, then their anxiety tends to go down and give them hope that maybe their life story will be one similar to the people who have had successful treatment. Another traditional masculine stereotype that people buy into is protecting the women in their life. So if they say, well, I don't want to hurt her or make her suffer, so I won't tell her the truth. So they want to be protective. Well, that's not very helpful for the person who's the patient. Whereas if they have a place to talk about their anxieties and their worst fear without protecting their kids or family members or their partners, and that could be whether their partner is male or female, because we have both spouses in groups, and it's just one of those masculine things. I want to protect others, and so I'll carry the weight myself. Whereas in a group where everybody has had this experience and they're willing to share, then they don't tend to posture as much. They don't have to act the way they're expected. They just get into more self-disclosure and truth-telling. So we do something called a life review at the very beginning, and they talk about major branching points in their life, from a boy to man, that has nothing to do with cancer or surgeries or treatment. And they tell stories. They write up the answer to these questions, and they tell the stories to each other. And so you build a high cohesion in the group of alliances. And what they find out, they have a lot of things in common. They share common victories, common achievements, and common tragedies and injuries in childhood. Then all of a sudden, it gives them permission to talk about things that they're not alone. So they normalize. They have a lot of common experiences. Even before a diagnosis of prostate cancer, they come to see that they have more in common than difference. So the group builds a high trust level, high connection, high I would say cooperativeness begins to emerge. Because we're working in a group, and the challenge we have is how to help one another live and adjust to the new life reality. We've done research to show that if they work through the group, depression does reduce, and with the reduction of depression is ability to think better, sleep better, and be proactive. But it's all because they get to tell their stories. They do get to grieve the loss of something that was very valuable to them. And that is what we facilitate doing. And they would never say they grieved. They never say they cried. They'd just say, I dropped a lot of baggage. And that's fine. So the graduates of the program will often say, I'm actually I feel more capable and strong and skilled as a man now because I can talk to my wife, my partner. I can identify what's going on. She doesn't have to do a guessing game with me. I'm more upfront, telling people when I feel something, when I don't, and I'm not pretending anymore to be kind of a John Wayne, like from the movies. kind of the stoic image that they have. So the benefits from the group have nothing to do, in the end, in some ways, about the cancer treatment. They have to do with a psychological strengthening of them in other spheres of their life. So you can see why the men's transition program for prostate people is more than about the prostate. It's actually life development for them.